The One Shot Kill is here. Jojo, good brother Willie is joining us tonight. How are you doing, Willie?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a lovely Saturday evening, and yeah, I'm glad to be back on the channel, brother.
Oh yeah, man. Good. We're here to discuss WrestleMania 33. And what did you think about?
This was actually my first WrestleMania since I became like a full blown wrestling fan, and I remember going to see it in a movie theater in my local town. Sure, it was a little on the long side, but I think it was a very solid card. The execution was iffy, but I still enjoy it, and I still go back to it to watch it. So I'm glad I finally get to review it here.
Yeah, when I first watched it, like years back, I enjoyed it more. But like this time, things I didn't like. And there were some things I did like. Like it was 50-50 for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
But we're gonna get was AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. What'd you think about this?
I think the story in this match was a little iffy. AJ Styles is mad at Shane McMahon, I think, because Randy Orton gave up his spot at WrestleMania. And then AJ won like a battle royal. Then Randy was like, you know what? Just kidding. And then Randy beats AJ. So AJ's pissed because he was supposed to face Bray, but, you know, attack Shane O'Mac. This match was oddly fun, though. I think it was no DQ, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the
yeah.
funny thing is, I didn't know it was no DQ before. I remember them telling me weeks before. Like it just happened out of the blue.
Yeah, like, I didn't know it was no DQ either. And then when Shane did the coast to coast with the garbage can, I was like, wait a minute, shouldn't that be a fucking DQ?
Yeah, but like you said, man, the match was good. Honestly, Shane on that, and AJ can make anyone look great. Like honestly, AJ's one of my favorites, and he made Shane look. Even though Shane lost, he makes in this match.
Yeah, like, and Shane at that age to move like he did, like that shooting star press and that hard landing when he missed. Oh, that was
That
absolutely
that was
sick.
badass. I loved that moment. There was times I was like, damn, is Shane about to win this? Behind AJ because I've always been an AJ guy, even in TNA, like when he was in like that. Always been an AJ fan, so I was fully behind him on.
Yeah, and then AJ came out with the win. I think the right man won there at the to start off a pretty sick WrestleMania. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think AJ deserved to win there.
yes, sir, I agree. But next up, we have Kevin, the United States Championship against Chris Jericho, which this was a good match with a good story to it. I just felt it shouldn't have been the. Right.
I think it should have been the main event. Like, honestly, this was the match I really wanted to talk about the most leading into this because Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho was like what the main story on Raw for like most of the summer and the early 2017. Back when KO was Universal Champion, Chris Jericho was US Champion. If it were me, I would have had both men keep their belts and have KO, Chris Jericho, main event of WrestleMania for both the Universal and United States titles, which I think it was supposed to be that. I think Jericho said on a podcast or something, and then Jericho was supposed to win that match. But then they changed their mind with Goldberg, and Goldberg won the Universal title, and then Jericho lost to Owens.
That would have actually been awesome about the Jericho part, not the old Berg part. And so Goldberg is awful, but
Yeah.
regardless that it wasn't the main event, it still was a good match. I just felt like you said, but regardless, the match was good. Like there was parts Jericho or the turnbuckle or the ropes with his finger, literally just second was this.
Yeah, I remember that. 1, 2, and then the finger to save himself. I like the dialogue in there too. Like I think KO literally yelled, "You were never my best friend," and all that shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a good moment for KO too. I think the main theme of this show was that the younger guys really got their moment. Like AJ, Kevin, Roman, which we'll get to later. You know.
Yeah,
I like that.
Like, dude, like I'm glad the younger guys got their moments, especially KO beating stage. That's a big thing for you to say in your career. KO at this time was, I want to say he was just getting in. Like he already had the Universal title, but like I still felt that was bad the way. But 2017 could have been more for KO in ways with him. Like not nowadays, but back then, like he could have been that title for longer, and he held it, and then Goldberg took it, like I said, and it just was so bad, like so bad.
Yeah, I think that the booking on that Universal title reign was kind of iffy, but when he won the U.S. title, his reign was great. Like I loved the new Face of America storyline with KO, and yeah, I just wish it was the main event, man. And I wish it would have been for the Universal belt, but yeah, it is what it is.
But KO ends up power bombing Jericho or the side of the ring, and then throws his ass back in the ring.
Yeah,
and he wins the title. So that was a good moment for him. I'm glad.
That was a sick ass finish.
Yeah,
sick ass finish.
Boom. Oh, that hurt. Like,
I remember watching that, and I felt that. I was like, "Oh, that must not have felt good."
But yeah, KO wins the title. Next up, we have a women's fatal with Nia Jax, Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley.
Honestly, this was a little underwhelming, in my honest opinion. Mainly because it didn't make much sense that Nia was in this. I honestly forget why she was, but I liked that Bayley walked in as the champion and walked out as the champion. I really thought that they were going to give it back to Charlotte, but I was surprised. I liked how it was also an elimination match, like when all three women teamed up on Nia, got her ass out of there first. I thought that was sick. And then the double moonsault by Charlotte on Banks and Bayley, kind of a rehash of Mania 32. Yeah, it was great. And then Bayley using the Macho Man elbow for the win and retains the title.
Poor Sasha though, bro. She went right through the freaking turnbuckle into her film, and then gets eliminated just like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. She hit the turnbuckle, and that was how she got eliminated.
Like straight up.
But
boom, 1, 2, 3, and everything. She just got eliminated, which understandable, man. That she hit that stuff simple. She went boom right into it and knocked her up.
Yeah, that must have fucking hurt.
Bayley retains in the end, which I'm happy because I was a Bayley fan, and I'm glad. So Bayley wins with the Macho Man elbow. 1, 2, retains her title. So that was
Yeah, I
good.
thought that was the right move. The right move.
Now it's time to get into the Raw Tag Team Ladder match, which has Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers, Cesaro, and the returning Hardy Boys.
Oh,
Pop.
that
Seriously.
pop was sick. Definitely one of the top Mania moments of all time. And you want oh fuck. It's gonna be them in the match. And no, it was the Hardys. I remember I was watching this with my mom, and she was a big Hardy Boys fan, and she lost her fucking mind. Everyone in that theater did. Everyone in that theater did. They were losing their shit, and yeah, no. And I didn't even think they pulled the trigger on the Hardy Boys the first night back, but they did. And this was fun too. Short, sweet, spot heavy. They went in, did their thing, got out. Jeff the Swanton on Sheamus. Well, it was Cesaro and Sheamus. And then
yeah, and Sheamus kind of botched one part, and he was like, you know what, I'll just fall out.
yeah, he followed out, and I think he hit the camera too.
Yeah.
And then Matt grabs both belts.
It was a good ladder match. Nothing too epic part, and honestly, social media kind of blew it up for me the night we were showing up. But still such an epic moment. Like honestly.
Oh yeah, that was fucking great. And you know, the Hardy Boys was like the return was absolutely great. What they did ever since with the Hardy Boys ever since, I will never forgive. But you know, it was great to have that feel good moment for them, and all the other teams did great too. Like they all had their moments, especially Cesaro and Sheamus. The 10 beats by Sheamus to everybody while Cesaro kept swinging somebody. I forget who, but yeah, no. And that was when Cesaro and Sheamus's tag team chemistry was like slowly growing, and they were becoming more of a team.
I love them as a team, to be honest. I really do. But I'm glad that it was a great moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was fucking great.
Up, unfortunately, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but it's the next match: John Cena, The Miz, and Maurice. I cared nothing about this. Like this match was nothing to me.
This, like, the whole feud was sort of pointless. Like, it was the whole point of this storyline was, hey, John, you can't propose to Nikki, and it's like, for one, I don't give a fuck about Nikki Bella really, let alone Total Bellas, and for two, it's not worthy of a Mania match, and it had the most predictable proposal in the history of fucking proposals. It was
so
the shortest fucking
bad,
match
man.
I've ever seen. Like, yeah, and then Cena goes down on one knee. Oh, will you marry me? And it's like, is this a work or a shoot proposal? I remember sitting there. I was like, is this a work or a shoot proposal? Apparently, it was like real-ish, but God damn it! Why was Nikki emotional there? She should have saw that fucking shit coming from a mile away.
Honestly, I'm gonna pass this because I just don't care for it. It did nothing for me. So like, I'm gonna jump to Seth Rollins versus Triple H because this was a match that caught my. This was good.
This was an absolute amazing storyline. One of the best in the decade, like in the 2010s, because Triple H created Rollins, made him the star that he was, and still is. And, costing Rollins the championship, helping Kevin Owens win that. And do you remember that one time where Seth Rollins invaded like an NXT show?
Yeah.
And called his ass out? That was fucking sick.
They came out, security. I remember that, man. Honestly, this feud, I could have main evented this over Roman and Taker. Because the Roman and Taker match, as we'll get into it later, really, I would have took Seth and Triple H's story and main event. This one had more steam in it than the other one, the main event, honestly.
Yeah, like especially this was the start of babyface Rollins, which in 2019 would end up going nowhere. But he was like red hot at this moment. And the match was absolutely sick. It was brutal. Like they were selling Rollins' knee injury throughout the entire match, which I liked it because it added to the in-ring psychology, really. And Hunter got some wicked shots in on that fucking knee. Like,
Yeah.
that shit could have fucking ended Rollins' career.
And then freaking Seth moves and Triple H goes, and then he moves. He almost hits Stephanie. Triple H gets super kicked into her. The entire Orlando place is just, dude, that place, that's all I hear. Yes. It was so
and
awesome.
then Triple H gets angry, and then one pedigree by Rollins later. 1, 2, 3.
My boy gets
that
a win
was over.
against. My boy gets a win against. This is what I mean about, like you said earlier, building the future. You got KO beating Jericho, and now you got Seth beating Roman beating Taker. When we talk about that later, like this show was built up with there and getting their moments, so that's always good to see.
Yeah, for sure. Like this match was definitely like match of the night for me. Rollins and Hunter, all the weapons being used. Stephanie had fucking balls taking that table spot. Like that shit. Oh, brutal. But yeah, it was always nice to see Rollins get the win, get his revenge on Hunter. And yeah, man, absolutely fucking brilliant.
And next up, another match I didn't really care for Randy Orton for the WWE title. This match kind of just was sloppy. They had bugs in the ring. Did you see that? Like, that was whack as hell.
I saw that and I was like weirded out by it. Not in the case of, oh my god, this is scary, obviously, but in the case of this is pointless. And it was a shame because this was another feud going in that had a shit ton of potential in Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton because, for one, you had Randy Orton feuding with Bray when SmackDown split, right? Then you had Randy join the Wyatt family in a moment where nobody saw coming. They were sick as hell together, too. Randy won the Royal Rumble. Bray won the Elimination Chamber. Randy gives up the spot. Randy burns up Bray's fucking compound, whatever you fucking call it.
Yeah.
And he comes for Bray, and the match happens, and then you sit there and you're like, why did this happen? Like, what was the point of this?
Story going into the match was better than the match itself, and it's been like this, like Mandy. They don't work good together. The same thing with 37. They did.
Yeah, I think that's the eternal curse with any feud involving Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton is going into the match, it's great. The match itself, terrible. Like you said, Mania 37, Mania 33, TLC 2020, like terrible.
Just, and like I still don't get why Bray would get the title and lose it like 30 days later to Randy. Like that was the shortest run.
It was literally a transitional champion.
Yeah.
And you're right. I don't understand that, but you really got to think about it. The WWE Championship was not the best in 2017, really, until AJ won it from Jinder the second time. because
I
you got to
agree.
think, like, AJ held it 2016, great fucking run. Cena only held it for like 14 days, lost at the Chamber. Mahal, we don't even need to get started on that. And Bray Wyatt and
Yeah.
Randy Orton both only held it for 2 weeks as well, or 2 months. I don't fucking know. Like, ugh.
Like, honestly, Randy gets the title 1, 2, 3. This match is just pointless to talk about with me. Like, it just character once again at this pay-per-view again, and then it's just like they hot, man. And it's just, it gets annoying to get behind the guy because then he loses.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think Bray's lost every Mania match he's ever been in besides the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah,
And
I believe so. Sad.
no matter what gimmick Bray has at WrestleMania, no. He always fucking loses. And I really do understand that. I think that's the problem with a lot of people. It's like, okay, Bray's good, but how can I, be invested in him if all he does is lose when it matters the most? And yeah, I can completely understand.
Yeah, but next up we have Brock Lesnar challenging. I'll always call him Goldberg because he's just Goldberg for the Universal Championship. This was like a 10-minute match, and honestly, it's probably my favorite. Probably say his best match ever.
This was my favorite Goldberg match or Goldberg match in his entire second run. And that was mainly because I think Brock Lesnar carried that match. Like,
I agree.
Remember that spot where Goldberg went for a spear and Brock fucking jumped over him?
And he bangs his head.
Bangs his head. Oh, that was so fucking great. And
he's so bad.
Yeah, but, for what it was worth with the time they were given, both men really made it work. And I think it was mainly because Brock is still that physical specimen. So he couldn't look bad here. Even though this started probably the worst Universal title reign in the title's history. The reign of terror, or, the hostage reign with Brock Lesnar. I like that he won it. I wasn't all for Goldberg holding that fucking title because it ruined the great run, or what could have been a great run, with Kevin Owens.
I agree, man. Honest was all right. It wasn't nothing that special. Like I said, spear, jackhammer, spear, F5, suplex, 1, 2, 3, new champion. That's basically it. There's really not much to talk about. But
classic Lesnar match.
Yeah, for real. But next challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss defended against Lynch, Mickie James, Carmella, Natalya, and Naomi. Yes.
I honestly forgot that this match happened. When I was watching the pay-per-view, I didn't know it was supposed to be on the show. I thought it was on the kickoff show, and I forgot about it. And then when they put the graphic on, coming up next, SmackDown Women's Title 6-Pack Challenge or whatever it was, I was like, oh fuck, I completely forgot about this match because it was the co-main event of the evening. And I didn't really care too much for this match either. Honestly, I don't remember anything in this match aside from Naomi winning. And that's because she came back to SmackDown before and put herself in the match and was like, I'm going to take my title back. And then she takes her title back. So I didn't really care for this.
Yeah, there was really nothing to it. Carmella and Alexa Bliss had some interaction against each other, and then they got goes for her finishing move. Naomi grabs her in a chokehold. I thought she really had her in the submission hold, and that's when she taps out and Naomi wins the title. Naomi, but this really wasn't nothing. there was nothing to this either. A match that had the right winner won, but just the match itself not good. It did nothing for me.
Yeah, I think I would much rather it have just been Alexa and Naomi 1-on-1, or how you put a triple threat with Becky in there. I think Mickey, Carmella, Natalia, and all these people didn't really need to be in there. It was just to get them all on the card, really.
Yeah, just to me, it did nothing. Honestly, like I could do like 5 matches that sucked in my opinion on this show, and it's annoying.
And honestly, like, I thought it was a shame. I would have switched this match and Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin. Like, Ambrose and Corbin was on the kickoff show, and I would have put that on the main show over this.
I agree. Like Undertaker even said that he would even tell you this was not a good match. There was just so many. Like there was a part Roman went to spear him and he like got up and he had to redo it, and then he went like he did this and then he came back and then he did 1, 2, 3, and it's like they confused it all. Like it was bad.
Yeah, I remember when Undertaker said that this was probably one of the worst matches of his career. Like I think he still had this bad hip during this match, and you could see it in like the later stages of the match with Roman where Undertaker just couldn't get the fuck up. I remember he was supposed to do a sit-up, and then he just falls down.
Over.
He plops down, and it's like, god damn. Undertaker could barely move. It shouldn't have main evented. It wasn't even a good feud either. It like Roman just popped up out of nowhere and confronted Undertaker. Hey, this is my yard now. And it's like, okay. And to have Roman beat Taker, even though Taker's like streak was already broken, it just added an insult to injury to the fans where you knew that nobody liked Roman, and you did that to The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I don't get it.
Yeah, honestly, like this was botchy. There was a lot of bad parts, and main event should have not been this. Seth with their story, or Jericho and Owens with their story. Like, not like this was just. I watched it over, and it's like watching it over. I mean, just watching this over because it was not a good match. Like, and the crazy thing is, I was there at Raw the next night when we booed Roman up to F you Roman, F you Roman. I was the one chanting that on my set. So
yeah, and I think that was even worse too. Was after the match, Undertaker like teased his retirement, and I think that should have been it because, especially after that match, like there was no way he could have continued. And it was emotional too. Like they spent like a good 10, 15 minutes on The Undertaker just taking off his coat, taking off his hat, walking over to the ring. Everyone's all crying. And then what happens a few months later or around a year? Oh no, a year later, he faces John Cena in a squash match. Then he almost gets murdered by Goldberg.
gosh.
And he has a good Boneyard match with AJ Styles, but if anything, he should have retired here.
Yeah, this was a perfect ending with the way he was just his hat and coat sitting in the ring. It was a having goosebumps because it was the end. It should have been the end, but it wasn't. But honestly, like this was a like I want to say there was 50% of me that liked it, and the other 50% some moments. But honestly, bro, I enjoyed this paper. I want to say it gets a 85.
An 85% from you?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it definitely had its moments. And I think I might have a little bit of bias towards the show, considering the fact that this was the first WrestleMania I've watched as a devoted wrestling fan. But yeah, it definitely had its moments, and good and bad, just like any show. I'm gonna give this a good 75 to 80%.
But yeah, that's the show though, guys. I just want to thank my good brother Willie for joining me tonight. Make sure you guys he makes some good stuff. He just had a video out earlier, so make sure you guys.
Yeah, be sure to check it out. A bunch of content coming. It's Mania week, y'all. Be
Sir,
sure to check out as much wrestling pages as you can. And
for
yeah,
real.
thank you for having me, man.
Appreciate you, good brother. But we will be back live page, so make sure you guys check us out right after Rampage, 11 p.m. for you guys are in the world. But but thanks for joining me, good.
Yeah, no